Everyone, my name is Kim Velez and I'm so excited to have you with me on this amazing channel today. If you're new here, please like, share, and subscribe so we can get this message out to the world, because my channel teaches you how to empower yourself, manifest the dream life, fall in love with you, really like build up your self-concept so you know you're unstoppable, so you know you're the one, so you know that you're the prize, and so much more. So today we are diving into stop trying to control the how when you're manifesting. I don't care what the fuck you're manifesting, if it's an SP, somebody new, money, your job, career, business, entrepreneurship, whatever, it applies to all of it. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Okay, so when it comes to manifesting your dreams and desires, worrying about the how can be such a significant roadblock. I know this is where the brain trips up and really gets us in trouble. And so here's all the reasons why you shouldn't worry about the how and what to do instead. So you end up focusing on the what and the why, because that's most important. That's what living in the wish fulfilled is. This is what Neville talks about when he's, saying like, live in the wish fulfilled. This is how we identity shift to be someone who already has what they want rather than somebody who doesn't have what they want, who's trying to get what they want. So the first thing is you have to trust in the process. So whatever you believe in, the universe, infinite intelligence, source, whatever you want to call it, is at play, right? They know, this thing knows the most efficient path to your desires. When you fixate on how, you may hit limits and like really limit yourself the way your desires can come to you and how quickly they come to you. So trusting the process means allowing things to unfold naturally without forcing a specific path and a specific way. And a lot of you struggle with this. A lot of you are trying to micromanage. A lot of you are always trying to control how, often the texts are coming in right now, this second, and what they're actually saying in the text constantly, rather than going to the end, trusting and knowing that everything's conforming outside of you. The more you're going within, believing in the process, believing and understanding you literally are the operant power of your reality, and what you want will come. So you have to keep moving to focus on the why instead of how it's going to come. And there's a story that always stood out to me. Like, I heard this years ago. I honestly cannot remember from where or who, but there was a woman who was manifesting a different job. She was working at a company, and I think she was making like $180,000 a year. And she wanted something better, and she kept saying, they're going to offer me $180,000 a year. That's what they were going to pay her, because for her, it was like, it's going to be this kind of job. She listed all the things she wanted, and then she said it needs to be the same pay. So she limited herself, and she literally manifested that in her reality, because she found a job that actually was going to pay her, that typically pays more. And when they interviewed her, they denied her for the job. And the reason was, it had to do with the pay. They said, we just can't start people at such a low pay, and you're not qualified enough to have the high pay. So she learned a lesson from that, where she realized like, oh my God, I created that because I said it has to be this much money. And so now in the story she shared, now what she does when she manifests is that she says this or more, right? So she didn't want to go obviously below 180,000, because that's where what she was making at her current job, but she was okay with getting that pay or higher. So she ended up, going on eventually a couple months later to actually manifest the job of her dreams that paid her, more than what she was getting. But it always stuck with me, because I was like, we never want to limit ourselves in the sense of it has to be right now, this second, or it has to come in by this date. I don't think there's anything wrong with picking dates, but the reason why a lot of you struggle when you pick dates is because when the date passes and you don't get what you want, you're like, it doesn't fucking work. So you just set yourself up for failure. So the other thing is you really want to focus on alignment and not the mechanics. And so many of you struggle with this. So when we're talking about alignment, because I used to hate that word, because in the law of attraction community, they really never explained it. And you're like, what the fuck is alignment, right? I started explaining it very well. So I'm going to keep explaining it the way I understand it. Alignment to me is when your dominant thoughts and your feelings match to the version of you that has what you want. So typically when we're reprogramming our mind, Our dominant thinking is not the dominant thoughts that we want, right? Because if you have 70,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of them are old programming that are on autopilot, when we're consciously choosing the new story, you're lucky if you're consciously focusing on and getting in a couple hundred thoughts a day. Most of you aren't even getting that much because most of you aren't taking the time to really have breaks throughout your day to really consciously, intentionally say, this is who I am, say, this is what's happening in my life, say, this is what, is unfolding for me. So a lot of you are even getting less than that. So then it's no wonder you still feel like shit, right? You don't even believe the new story of you yet because you're still the old story of you. So you have to keep persisting in reprogramming your mind, and that's what the process is. So when you get your dominant thinking and the feelings, because remember, your feelings are created by your thoughts. Your thoughts, it's not the other way around. Your feelings don't create your thoughts. Your thoughts come first and then they produce feelings. So a lot of times when you are affirming what it is that you want, I'm loved, I'm chosen, I'm rich, I'm a millionaire, whatever, and you're feeling like, fuck no, I'm not, right? Like you're feeling broke as shit, you're feeling rejected as hell. Well, it's because your feelings, your dominant thoughts haven't created the new feelings of the version of you that actually how you would feel if you had millions of dollars in the bank account and it was normal for you, right? Or how you would feel if you knew you were good at relationships, and that relationship, you're in a relationship and it feels amazing and you've been in it for well over a year and it's fine and you feel safe and secure in it. So that's why a lot of you give up, because you don't understand what's really happening internally and why it's still showing up this way. So we don't want to focus on the mechanics in the sense of what technique to use, how often should I do the technique, because then what you're doing is you're missing the point. You're trying to micromanage the process, which leads to frustration. It leads to you getting upset. It leads you to still checking 3D results, and it leads you and sets you up for failure, because in your subconscious mind, as you're doing that, you're saying, but I'm doing all these things and nothing's happening. So you're still the old version of you that doesn't have what she wants, and she's trying to do these different mechanical things. She's trying to do these different techniques to become the version of her, right? So you're not her. You're missing the whole point. So it's about the process. It's about who you're becoming. It's about moving your thinking and your thoughts over and over again until you start creating a whole new internal state in you, a whole new inner environment in you. It's not about the environment out here. It's about what's going on in here. You're changing the environment within you. And because the 3D reality is a mirror to what is dominantly in here, then that will shift and change and be reflecting something different over time. So you concentrate on the process of becoming the version of you who is a match for the reality she wants. The insecure, not chosen, love is hard version of you, she's not in the fucking reality where she gets the relationship of her dreams and she's safe and secure and confident. That's not her. It doesn't fucking match. It's two separate realities. So you have to be the version of you that's in the reality you want. So this is why you have to focus on the process and trust and know that everything will manifest in due time, whenever the fuck that is. We're all different. So another thing, you guys really struggle with is when you're so obsessive about the specific person, or you're so obsessive about getting the thing outside of you, you're not changing you. You're not convincing yourself of anything different. You're still the old you who doesn't know her worth and value. You're still the old you who feels like, she's broke, that money's hard, whatever that shitty story is, you are still dominantly her. And so then what you're doing is you're trying to control having it come to you right now, this second, to relieve you. And that's the old you. That's the problem. That's what we're changing. We're changing the belief systems that make you feel not good enough. We're changing the belief systems that say, I need constant validation and external validation outside of me in order for me to know that I can have this, in order for me to know that I'm good enough, in order for me to know that I'm successful, whatever the story is. So you really want to do all these things so you allow yourself to concentrate on being the version of you who is really creating, like I said, this inner environment, this inner state in you that knows something different than the old version of you. And you persist in that, and you won't need any validation outside of you because of who you're being in that moment. And that's what the work is, and that's what the process is. It's becoming. You're not her yet, you're becoming her, because you really are her genuinely, but like you've been programmed from, with limited thinking from your childhood, most likely, and from experiences that happened to you in adulthood that just reinforce those beliefs. So you're undoing what you've learned and what has been programmed in you, and you have to repeat it until you know it differently about yourself. So we want to not fixate on every step of how it unfolds. You want to really allow the infinite source to deliver it all the ways it's going to deliver it, and then you can accept it. And it's really fun to know and trust that it's coming to you and that you'll get it, and it's going to happen in such an easy, natural, graceful, surprising, delightful way. Like if you sit here and you're like, they need to text me at 8 a.m. I need to have, $300,000 right now this month, and the next month it needs to jump to 350. Well, what if the next month it stayed at 300, or what if it dipped a little bit below? If you're so fixated on the fact that it has to show up exactly how I want it every single second of the day, you're not going to sustain what you want, because you're not trusting. You're more invested in the results in the 3D reality than trusting and knowing like, wow, I manifested this 300K. Holy fuck, this is amazing, right? More is on its way. Trusting and knowing that if you did it once, you can fucking do it again. Same thing with SPs and love. Like, if you manifested a favorable experience from people in the past, you can manifest it again. You can cultivate within you a version of you that knows she's incredible and amazing, and you felt that way before. You just have to keep persisting internally in that version of you until it becomes dominantly who you are. So you don't want to focus on the details. You already got specific about what you want. Now let it unfold. Trust. Where's the fucking trust? How do you not have faith in the unseen? So you don't want to try to control the how. You want to be the version of you that knows it's happening. You want to be the version of you that it's coming to you, that it's already on its way, because it's already yours. And when you are someone who changes, this is where, shifting your self-concept is so valuable and so important, because Neville's been so clear in all of his teachings. It's the fundamental, underpinning of his teachings that when you change your self-concept and how you see yourself, the world has to conform to the new story of you. So if you don't see yourself as a successful, 8-figure business owner, well, then you're not going to be. If you don't see yourself as someone who is easy to love and easily, committed to, well, then that's the reality you're going to live in. You're going to be in a reality where you're not easy to love, and you have experiences where people have to mirror that back to you, and you're not going to get the commitment you want. I mean, we've all been there. We all know this, right? It doesn't feel good. So you really want to learn how to trust in the process. You really want to understand that you don't have to control every second, and it's fucking exhausting, and you're missing the whole point of what being a conscious manifestor is. You're commanding your subconscious mind. You're commanding your subconscious mind through conscious thinking. You're saying, I'm choosing to be healthy, so therefore I am healthy. If I were healthy, then I would state I am healthy. I love being healthy, right? Most of us sit here and like, God, I'm so fat, I'm so unhealthy, I feel awful, this or that. That's the dominant thinking. That's who we dominantly are, rather than, no, I am healthy. No, I have all the energy. No, my body is a lean, mean, fat burning machine, right? Like, no, I am loved. No, I am always chosen. No, I'm always fucking committed to, it's so easy for me to be in relationships. I always feel loved and valued with whoever I'm dating. I always get the commitment and any person that I want, right? I am a 7-figure business owner. I always have clients coming to me. People love to work with me. It feels so good to own a thriving, successful company. Like, that's who you would be, and that's the way you would be naturally thinking if that's what your reality was. So you cultivate it and craft it within. You stop trying to control how it's going to show up. Trust and know it is, and just do the process of changing the internal environment, the internal state, so that out here can show up different. All right, guys, if you want to work with me, I have amazing weekly coaching where I can really fundamentally shift this for you. The level of accountability is insane, and you get to work with me and all the other amazing people. So we'd love to see you in there. Details are below. Bye.